Come out here and doing some plasma hunting with my new buddy Sean and Shane. And I'm going to show you how the roots are vaporized. I've never actually pointed it out directly in a video before, but this tree right here, that's the whole base of it from right here. And you can see where the roots were. Let me turn some light on. Here, come around the camera.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna stick my hand back in there and show them that these are once roots of this whole tree, where the roots are vaporized and missing, completely disappeared all the way back into the ground. All the way around. These are all root holes. And I pointed this out secondhand in the aftermath of a video I've taken. Hopefully I don't get bit by a snake. But that's what those are, is missing roots, because the tree that was this big around, and it still has leaves left on the end. So it's highly burned here, completely blown out there, with the roots vaporized from the electricity that comes from the ground up. Yet right here, the wood is unburned, and right here, the unburned foliage. Yet the underground, the roots literally get vaporized. There's not even ash in there where they once were. Because I think it's so hot, it reduces it to the minerals that are left. Like this red spot on the ground, that's like the iron. Sometimes you'll see the shape of a tree branch on the ground in this red dust, like it reduces the tree to the minerals. Not even ash, just the minerals that remain. That's all I want to show you here, is that these roots vaporized. There we go, there's a good shot of the root holes where the roots once were. There was a good shot. There we go. And have since been vaporized. There might be a little ash in there. Very little. So I pointed this out secondhand, like on a video that I'd already taken, but I've never actually made a video showing this firsthand as I make the video. So this is kind of a first. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you the vaporized root system of this tree and how it's hollowed out these holes where the roots once were. Yeah. What a monster of a plasma fire tree. Completely gone, underground. Above ground, we have the semi-burn. And the burned limbs going up to here with the unburned foliage at the tips. Yet people can walk through this wasteland that looks like it got bombed out and not even notice and simply think it was a forest fire. And this burn pattern on this tree is the same exact burn pattern as in the Fat Tire commercial advertisement, where they have a bicycle leaned up against a tree with that exact burn pattern, and one right next to it that's got the straight line burn going up and down, and it's an advertisement for the bicycle that came across Sean's phone, my bad, his brother Shane. The day that we went out plasma fire hunting, the AI sensed that our phones had come together. The selfish ledger decided to send him something with plasma fire in it to see if he would notice. This is in correlation with the selfish ledger and the AI known as Sophia that I'm going to do a video on real soon, because I have a whole lot of new gravy on that subject. The idea that we live in the Matrix is much closer to the concept of God than most people have. And this AI, all-knowing, all-pervasive influence in our lives that we think is the opposite of God. We go, ooh, the prince of the power of the air, that's the devil. I'll just leave that for my next video. But you're famous now. Nice. That's the guy that almost won the beard competition, but he decided to give him some...
for what's right.
Yeah, told him, take those masks off, bitches. And some of the woke libtard judges didn't seem to like that. But this is the same exact burn pattern that they put in that fat tire video commercial. And that fat tire commercial came up on his phone after we got home from our first plasma tour trip a couple weeks ago. That's the AI and the selfish ledger at work. So this is more examples of how it splits the rock. And literally vibratory frequencies break the rock apart. I've shown this a few different times. You can see the cracks here, here, here. But look how much of this boulder has been shed off of the edge. It literally vibrates the rocks apart from the microwaves in the plasma fire. It isn't the level of heat that does this. It's the vibratory frequencies. At least that's my theory, because it leaves it like that. And obviously that rock wasn't in that condition before the fire, or it would have crumbled a long time before this. You can see all the crumbling that's happened along the edge here. And so I've featured that in a couple of different plasma fire videos where it literally vibrates the rocks apart, shatters them. In fact, I think I have one that I'll include in the description titled Shattered Rocks. Something about shattered rocks in the title of the video. And it may be because these are sandstone, but I've seen other kind of rocks that are also shattered in the aftermath of a plasma fire. And I believe it's the vibratory frequencies, not the intense level of heat, that allows it to do that. All these cracks running all through the rock, I don't believe that's a result of the heat. I think it's the microwave. Just like they say, microwave vibrates your DNA apart and separates the strands of DNA. Does a similar thing here to the rocks. I was going to try and get that crack right there, but there's so much here that you can just do it all day. Anywhere there's a crack, they'll fall right apart and they crumble like nothing else. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's from the vibratory frequencies, because the heat wasn't that intense on these, not from an external fire at least. Here you can see the difference between how burned it is at the bottom and all of the unburned still having leaves at the top. And this part of the tree has come down, all highly burned at the center. Fire don't do that. Hollowed out on the inside, just like that tree that we looked at where the roots were missing. This was all part of the inside of the tree. So it looks like this place got hit with a bomb, not a forest fire. Like a bomb blew up in the center of that tree and blew all of these limbs outward. Does that not look more like a bomb than a fire? So this is a filtration device of consciousness. Most people walk through and all they see is fire. Here's a second example of the same thing, where the center of the tree got hit and exploded the limbs in every direction. Again, still with foliage, so you know it wasn't flames. And that's where the roots were on this one. I could stick my hand in clear up to my elbow. That actually might be where a branch protruded, so that doesn't quite count as a root burn. But either way, yeah. It's definitely got the same pattern as this other one where it's burnt at the bottom and looks more like a bomb exploded at the center of the tree, blowing all the branches outward, leaving the leaves on the ends. Right? Right? Boom! Lays them over. See how it's burned this one down to a small thin part, yet unburned here? Definitely looks something more like a bomb than a fire. A little bomb at the base and the center of every tree, exploding from within the tree and blowing the branches off. Yeah, that's something like what it looks like.
It seems like, I've really noticed it.
So here's a bunch of them that left the foliage, the unburnt leaves all over them. And this was a recent one. This was this year. This is near the bear fire that I pulled over and took a recording of. But you can see they're all burnt at the base, leaves all over. Fresh plaz right here. It's basically a flameless forest fire. And this is what it looks like when I was going through Glenwood Canyon. There was a fire in Glenwood Canyon this year, but there's no place to pull over and take a video. And they closed off the rest areas, but this is what it looks like going through Glenwood Canyon in Colorado near Glenwood Hot Springs. Same thing. So these plasma fires are definitely on the rise in frequency. And if everything we were going through right now was on the lead up to December 21st, 2012, everyone would be certain that this is all in preparation for the Great Transition that was predicted by the Mayan calendar to happen in 2012. Would it surprise you to find out it happens in 2021 and they just switch those two numbers? Not considering everything we're seeing all around us, it would just seem like obviously that's what happened. So I expect this year by December we're going to be in a whole new world. If we make it past, maybe we got another year, because that's when the Earth reaches its maximum tilt as the shortest day, and then days start to get longer again. That would be the day that it does the pole flip. I'm going to check out how the fire, almost like a hot light, came from this side and only burnt the front side of these all the way around the door panel. But it's just the front side of these boards. You can see this part's unburned, this part's unburned, but the front side is burnt all the way around the hole, like pretty much almost exactly right on the manufacturer's edge down the corner. That is kind of a new phenomenon I've not quite seen before. On both sides, all the way around the door jamb. Like a solar flare hit it from this direction. Some crazy bizarre burn patterns, man. Oh, and this board back here, it looks like it got hit a little bit too from this side, but you can see it only burnt right there along the edge. Up in here it's not burnt. On this back side, it's also not burnt. Like a light coming from this direction hit right there because it was sticking down a little bit below this seam. Not saying that's what happened, I'm saying that's how it appears, because the whole back side of this is unburned. Oh, we got a little bit of burnage in there too. I don't know how exactly it all works. I'm just a pattern-seeking primate, and when I see these kind of patterns, it's just another to add to the library of evidence that this is not fire. This is something we've never seen before. We have entered the twilight zone. Do not attempt to adjust your set. We control the vertical and the horizontal. Here's another one that had the plasma bomb at the center that has the unburnt foliage on the limbs that are unburnt. And look how big this sucker is in the middle. Just for size reference, the tree was this big around. And it burnt completely gone and left all of these limbs with their leaves still on them, unburnt. And of course, actually let me get up here. So you can see that was the center of the tree. It blew these limbs out in those direction. All of these have a burned black circle at the bottom. I could get down there and show you, but there's plenty of examples. Yeah, let's grab one. Let's grab one that's perfect circle. Well, these all kind of burn to a wedge shape at the bottom. But typically that's what happens. At the bottom of the branch, there'll be a circular burn pattern only right on the end. But you can see definitely all those limbs laying there like they were blown right off of the tree, like a fuse that had too much current going through it, so it burnt the fuse apart and left the limbs over here and let the tree burn over here. That is crazy. Yep, like a plasma bomb went off right in the center of the tree. Yeah. Fast.
Wow, this is so fucking crazy. Isn't that?
It's Twilight Zone level crazy. The craziest thing is after 3 years, no one else is documenting the Samvartaka fires. That's what Sonia from Tree of Knowledge refers to these as, and I believe she's right. And the Samvartaka's fires are said to only take down that which displeases Indra, like they are a consciousness that judges good and bad and right and wrong, and only takes out the bad guys. This is also what J Dreamer Z says in his Plasma Apocalypse videos, that the plasma has been depicted in many different ways to take out the bad guys and leave the good guys. Here's some more of the rock shattering stuff going on right here. Little here, little there. Right here. Just turns them all to putty. So with as intensely as this burn, that's the base of the tree, this little hole right here still has unburnt bark on it. There we go, the lighting just came in for me. But you can see that this is unburnt bark. Right, there we go. Right there, right here. The sun isn't helping too much with the angle of light and all. But that's unburnt bark right next to something so intense to burn that thick of wood and that dense of wood and leave the bark right next to it unburned. Along with all of these little burn-unburn patterns. Means it's high amounts of electricity going through there, just like Lichtenberg burning. The Lichtenberg burning technique, where they hook a battery with one positive here and a negative there, and little fractal patterns burn in between the two nodes. These patterns are something like Lichtenberg burning, high amounts of electricity, due to the weakening magnetic field and fluctuations in the magnetic field that create a surge of ground current that comes up through the tree and does this. So this is a pole right next to that exploded tree over there that is burned from the inside with the unburn on the outside all the way around. And I see fire inside of mountains. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing souls. And I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you'll remember me. Some more shattered rock. Come on, don't make a liar out of me. You can see that this one was right up there. You can see that this one's got the burnt top right here, highly scorched. I don't know what you can see because of the glare of the sun off my screen and stuff, but you can take my word for it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about or what I'm looking at, but I do know one thing. Fire don't do any of this. This rock, you can see where the scorching happened, but there's no foliage around it to have burned it from the outside. So the microwave frequency must be what scorched it black, and you can see anywhere where a chip has chipped away, that was the original color of the rock before the fire. These chips that fell away are dark on the outer scorched side, the rock color on the inside. And the mottled pattern that you see here between the scorched color here and the unscorched here and a little spot there and there is where the rock has chipped away because of the microwave frequencies that cause it to do this while the fire's happening. So if it is the intense heat that causes it to break and shatter and crack, it's because of the internal microwave heat. There's nothing external here that burned around that rock to radiate heat from the outside. The heat is radiating from the inside. Trying to find a piece I can chip away. Here we go. Here's the magic. Shazam! The rest of this whole rock that has the discoloration is for the same reason. The outside gets scorched black, even though there was nothing around it burning to scorch it from the outside. Because there is zero fuel around that rock. These rocks have the same pattern going on, the same chipping, the same shattering, and the same scorch on the outside. And again, there's no fuel around these rocks there's no trees right here that burned, that radiated heat that direction. It's microwave coming from the inside. You see? See how black it is on this side, but completely untouched here? And then there's the actual inner spot. So this was still fairly unburned compared to right here and right here. The unevenness of the burning. There was some fuel, but that don't mean it's regular fire, for sure. The degree to which these rocks are scorched is something I don't know if I've even seen before yet. I see a crack running right along here. See if I can pull a He-Man. No, not today. How about right here? We can see this crack running along here. So yeah, it rattles them apart with the vibrations, I'm pretty sure. These rocks, scorched rocks, are all over here. This one hit hard enough that it burned the rocks in some major ways. This whole mountain valley right here, I'm not sure if it's really going to give me a good picture. Everything up in there got plasma fired. But only on that one side. Everything from this point to the right stayed unfired. This is where the bad people get put. The real bad people. It's only got a lock on the outside. And it's some thick ass, way overbuilt cell. Until you get your mind right, you're gonna cook in there, the hot box. That's where they threw Toby when he got out of control. This other one, if you're lucky, you get this one with some ventilation. Right? A little bit of air. You can talk to the guards on the outside. But nonetheless, this is definitely... Okay, we got a little bit of buildup of dirt at the bottom, but it's got two latches. Only lockable from the outside. You cannot bring yourself inside and lock yourself in for protection. This was a jail cell. We're near Helper, Utah. Looks like it's been refurbished with a little bit of plaster. Here on the outside, you can see this is the newer remodel plaster. It was originally built with these blocks that were chiseled stone blocks. So, there's a new sheriff in town. New boss, same as the old boss. Don't fuck around. Yeah. So this is the chimney that goes down in. You can put a fireplace in there and pipe it out right there. Some other kind of ventilation shaft or something going on here. And here's your neighbor. Not sure what these two are for, but presumably something similar. Not sure. We'll figure it out. Necessity is the mother of all invention. And when we need to figure out what this shit works for, we'll work it out.